Do us a favor. Articulate the position of the person horrified that anyone would go to Africa to shoot big animals.
Oh, awesome.
All right,
Yeah,
so try to articulate that well so that they feel like you get what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then how would you respond?
So I'm sure there will be lots and lots of people saying this is horrible that we have two Catholic men sitting around talking about killing animals and how that's fun. First of all, I want to say it is fun. It's super fun. I love it. I like doing it. I like sneaking through the grass. I like pulling a gun up and putting it on sticks while this innocent animal doesn't know that I'm there and then shooting it and it dying. That is fun. I enjoy that. I don't think we need to be ashamed of saying that, right? I like to be aggressive, right? I like to hunt things. I like to kill things. I like to eat those things. I think that's good. So no apologies at all. And I'm going to shoot the biggest one, right, on purpose. You know why?
So it looks cool on your wall?
Cool. It looks super cool, and I feel cool.
Look at that thing.
I'll do it. It was amazing. I was there.
Shot that off a truck.
So I just want to say that
400 yards away, over 400 yards. As soon as I said off a truck, I wanted to be clear. It wasn't chained to the earth.
It was still in a cage. We drove up beside the cage. No, that was awesome. That was a great hunt. Yeah. But I just want to, I'm not pulling any punches on that. I refuse to give the mushy gushy. Yeah. But that being said, once again, the reason why we're hunting Namibia and not some of these other places, there's a few reasons. But the big one is it's free range. Right, we're not hunting a high fence spot. And I'm not knocking guys who hunt high fence. Right, I understand. I've got great buddies who I love to death who do high fence hunts on 20, 30, 40,000 acres in Texas, in South Africa, or whatever. That's awesome. I just don't particularly want to do it. Right, but it's also Namibia from a corruption standpoint. The amount of money that you're paying that is actually making it to conservation is enormous, right? I talk about this with deer, and I'll talk about the North American model in a second, right? But the African model is you got all these guys hanging out in Africa. Spoiler alert, they're not terribly wealthy guys, right? They're mostly homesteaders, fairly self-sufficient, subsistence farmers, all of that, right? And there's animals everywhere. Right? There's wildebeest, there's gemsbuck, there's springbuck, there's waterbuck, all of this stuff. And what are those animals doing? They're eating, right? They're grazing on the same land that these guys' goats are. They're trampling through their gardens. They're a pain in the butt, right? Some of the big predators are eating their livestock, all of that, right? And so there's zero incentive, right? If that's the entirety, right? If nobody's coming over to shoot them, there's zero incentive to keep these animals around. They're frustrating, right? They're irritating. It's like I trap coyotes all the time. I want to kill all the coyotes that are around my house because they're killing my chickens and I don't like them, right? But what the African model of conservation does is they take that and they say, okay, don't shoot the springbuck. I know you want to. I know that it's a financial liability. You know, it's out there. Don't shoot it. In exchange, some guy's going to come over from the United States. He's going to shoot that animal. You're going to get the meat from that animal, and you're going to get paid. And so that's how they fund conservation entirely, right? Botswana, I think it was Botswana that outlawed hunting, elephant hunting. Yeah. And when they outlawed elephant hunting, guess what happened? The population nosedived, right? They recently reintroduced hunting, right? And now the population's growing again. And it's because the animals don't have a value. They don't have a dollar value for the locals. They have a negative value, right? They're made out of meat and they're a pain in the butt. So I can shoot it, get protein, and not have to worry about the impact that they're having on my agriculture and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can feel good about it. And I'm not here to say I wouldn't go shoot pandas even if I could, right? Not because they're cute, right? They're charismatic megafauna for sure. But I wouldn't shoot them because I realize that would be bad for the population. But backwards as it sounds, it's really good. It's really good for the wildebeest population for you to go over to Africa and shoot a wildebeest. It's not good for that particular wildebeest, right? But it's good in general.
Trust me. Just stand still. Well, this is good for you.
If I can nerd out a little bit on sort of like hunting history in the United States, in the 1930s, right? I live in Georgia. There were almost no deer in Georgia. There were almost no deer. You had some pockets way up in the mountains, and then you had some way down in the Okefenokee Swamp, but seeing a deer track was a huge deal back then, right, for decades. And the reason was they'd all been shot out. People were shooting them. They were selling the meat. There were no laws that regulated hunting, right? Now in Georgia, I can shoot 10 does, 2 bucks every single year because they've rebounded so much. And the reason they have is the Pittman-Robertson Act. Everybody should look up, right, if you're a conservation guy. That's the difference between the African model of conservation and the North American model of conservation. All hinges on the Pittman-Robertson Act in the U.S., right, which basically says we're going to charge everyone extra for hunting gear, bullets, guns, all of that. That's going to go towards conservation. Also, we're going to give anyone who wants to, right, or who's legally allowed to, right, tags for certain animals to make those animals worth something. It outlawed market hunting, so you couldn't shoot deer and sell them. I can't sell the deer that we shoot out I don't know, in like a stand out in front of my house or anything like that. And it made the animals valuable. It made them trophies, right? It made them something worth preserving. And now we have more deer than we know what to do with. They maybe a decade ago, they doubled the number of bear tags that they gave out because they wanted people to shoot more bears because they're overpopulated. It's a cool problem.
Go and download Truthfully. It's a platform bringing honest conversations and real answers to life's toughest questions. Yeah, wow, that's really great. I'd like to talk about our time in Africa and how fun it was. I mean, having my son show up, who showed up a couple of days after us with Father Jason.
45 minutes out of the car, he shot a springbuck. That was the coolest thing.
I didn't realize what a miracle that was until I missed 800 shots the next day on springbuck.
There were so many too. Yeah.
There were so many, and they were right in front of me, and they were chained to trees, and I couldn't get them.
They were not chained to trees.
No,
yeah,
they weren't. But
no, it was good. I have made, what's been super cool for me is the community. Like for anonymity reasons, obviously your telephone number wasn't shared with these guys, but mine was. And we've got a WhatsApp group, and we are back and forth all the time. People are posting baby announcements in there and all of that stuff because that's what we want, right? That's what we want as community. And it's cheesy, right, when we talk about our time in Africa to say this, but it's true. My favorite times in Africa were the times I was sitting around a campfire. Do you remember Philip?
Yeah.
I won't give any last name to Philip, but
he was wonderful.
Never hunted before. I don't know if he'd ever shot a gun before. He and I just did a little ride around in the back of a Toyota. Yeah. We didn't see anything. And it was the best. And we talked about real stuff because he's the kind of guy, once again, that natural filter, that is willing to come to Africa and hunt things out of his element and pay more so that he can do it with good men, good Catholic men.
It was funny that they kept feeding us really late at night. Didn't appreciate that.
Like ridiculously late. Well, because the sun goes down there at about 5:30.
We're like, hey, I'm old and can't eat super late. Yeah. Like, well, it's 9:30 and that's a terrible accent.
No, they all sounded just like that.
9:30 and 9:30, 10 o'clock.
I loved it. We did multiple zebra hunts, right? One guy did a thermal zebra hunt. He really wanted to get a zebra. He hadn't gotten one. He went out. Our buddy Christopher went out and hunted zebras with thermals, right? Thermal vision at night. And once again, when we were in the Kalahari Desert, we saw the plain zebras. They just stand and run around out there, right? You just can walk up and shoot one. But the mountain zebras, the Hartman zebras, they look slightly different. They live up in the mountains, so it's hard. It's a hard hunt, right? He got one. All these guys, we had these like really intense, you remember this? Really intense zebra hunts.
Oh, yeah.
And then I went out to get my zebra, and one ran across the road. I shot it at about 70 yards. It then ran downhill to die in the road, and we just like drove up, threw it in the back, took some pictures. So it's all over the place.
No, we won't say the fella's name. I think it was the fella from Denver we were talking about this morning. What was the black? What was the animal he got with the giant
sable?
Sable. My goodness,
that
was beautiful.
It was amazing. My favorite thing, and I can do first names, right?
Yeah, I think so.
First names. Scott, right? Our friend Scott, who was there. He came, and the first thing he said was, I'm not going to shoot a baboon. I would never shoot a baboon. They're too much like people. That weirds me out. So he knocks everything that was sort of already on the list, because when you go, right, there's sort of a menu. It's like, here are the animals that you have tags for. You can hunt these animals. Anything else, we got to pay extra. We got to figure all that stuff out. And one of the animals was a baboon. And he shot the other animals that he had tags for within, I think, both of them the first day. And then he was like, well, I might as well go look for baboons. And by day 5, his bloodlust for a baboon, it was awesome.
That was funny.
He didn't get a baboon. We didn't get any baboon.
Thank you very much for watching that Pints with Aquinas clip. If you like it, do me a favor, click like and subscribe, and please offer a Hail Mary for the work of Pints with Aquinas and all the people we're trying to reach. God bless you.